Hey my beautiful Sagittarian peeps, what's going on everybody? It's Zan from CancerMoonsTarot and welcome in here to your yearly 2024 tarot reading. How are you? I hope you guys are doing well. I do want to mention as always before we start, if you're interested in a personal read, check out my website, CancerMoonsTarot.com. It'll be the first link in the description below if you would like to book me there. But without further ado, we're going to get started here first and foremost with your three major themes coming in for the year 2024. We'll expand on these themes a little bit and then we'll get on into the rest of what I have for you, okay? So without further ado, Sagittarius, sit back, relax. This will be a pretty long reading, so you're a real one if you make it through, but we're going to get as much insight as possible for 2024. So tell me about, first and foremost, the three major themes coming in here for Sagittarians, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout the year of 2024. What are going to be the three major themes they're experiencing moving throughout this year? Let's go ahead and check it out. Starting out here with the first theme, we have here detach. Okay, definitely a very prominent card to come into play for you. Following up onto your second theme, we have here the throat chakra, and looking at the final theme for Sagittarians throughout 2024, what's it going to be? And we have here dreams coming true. Look at that. Love that card coming into play for you. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, we begin here first and foremost with this detach card, and the energy of detachment can be valuable. It can also be a card sometimes, or more so, excuse me, an energy sometimes that might not always be the best. But I feel like in this particular case, what you're being called to detach from this year, Sagittarius, is everything and anything that is not currently serving you. This is going to be the time to recognize there is a lot that maybe I've been super invested in that hasn't been helpful. So detach showing up over here calls for you to bring into your awareness, what do I actually need to detach from? What isn't serving me? What am I putting my energy into? What am I investing my energy into that isn't beneficial for me throughout this entire year? What can I shift and what can I change? Now let's go ahead and expand on this. What information do we have here regarding our first theme for Sagittarius, which is going to be the theme of detachment? We have here an Ace of Swords. Moving along here from that Ace of Swords, we also have here a Moon card paired here to a Seven of Cups coming into play for you guys as well. So Ace of Swords showing up here in reference to detach. It's time to recognize the truth. Is something true for you? Is something truly serving you? Is it really worth your time and your investment? I think that's going to be a question you have to ask yourself quite a bit this year in 2024. But you know what though? Remaining as aware as possible, constantly making sure you're seeing the truth and you're looking at life from a very realistic point of view, you're going to be navigating this year quite well if you can do that. So bring into your awareness at every given moment in time, what do I need to detach from? What do I need to let go of? We have here the Moon card. What are you emotionally invested in? Are you emotionally invested in someone who is consistently taking you for granted? Are you emotionally invested in people who constantly lower your vibration? Are you emotionally invested in things that have gotten you a negative return? You know, if these are situations you're saying yes to right now behind the screen, then you have to take the time this year to realize these are the things I need to detach from, you know? Looking at the Seven of Cups could represent multiple situations that may require your detachment in 2024, but you can do it. Even if you're used to it, even if you're used to investing in shitty people or shitty situations or bad habits, you can 110% Sagittarius have a full, complete detachment from everything that doesn't serve you this year, as long as you remain aware of what is aiding you and helping you versus what is hurting you. That's going to be something you have to keep track of all throughout 2024, especially if you're looking for an incredibly successful year. You have to take into consideration what is helping me, what is hurting me. If you can become aware of those two things, you're going to be detaching from all the bad stuff and you're going to remain making an awesome investment into the good stuff that's really going to benefit you the most. Okay? So definitely a major theme coming up here, but I would say make sure we focus on that detachment and make sure we are detaching from the right things. Now, following up for your second major theme, we have here the throat chakra, right? This is about communication. It's about speaking your truth, living in your truth, not holding back, having honest conversations. You know, it has everything to do with embracing the truth at the end of the day. Let's go ahead and expand on it. What information do we have here for this throat chakra card coming up here for Sagittarius throughout 2024? First card coming into mind is going to be the Page of Pentacles. Yep, taking a look here at the next card, we have a Page of Swords, and looking at the final card, we have here the Emperor. This is kind of like the stages of opening up, if you will. Page of Pentacles says, all right, I'm going to open up a little bit. I'm going to open up a little bit about how I feel. I'm going to show the world a little bit of who I am, but I'm not going to go full force yet. I'm kind of just dipping my toes in the water. I think that in the beginning of 2024, you guys are starting to get there, So when it comes to living your truth, embracing who you are, you're getting there little by little, but it does feel like you're going to have moments, Page of Swords, where you're going to feel hesitant. You're going to be a little bit worried to show everybody exactly who you are. What if people judge me? What if people don't accept me? But the key here is to transform completely into the Emperor. In 2024, you want to get to the point where it's like, fuck anybody else who has a bad opinion of me. Forget those people. Forget the opinions of others. Forget the validity of others. All that matters is that I'm truly being who I am. I don't need to mold myself to be somebody I'm not. I need to live my life exactly as the person I desire to be each and every single day. If you morph into this energy, which I feel like many of you are going to experience in 2024, you're going to feel golden. This is going to be the year, guys, where it's like, have I been holding back who I am? Have I been holding back how I feel about situations? Have I been in a lot of scenarios where I haven't been completely upfront? Maybe I've just been kind of suffering in silence, being unhappy with things, but that's not the case anymore. I'm not going to suffer in silence. I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm going to tell people how I really feel. I'm going to be who the hell I am, and no one's going to change that. And it's going to be incredibly impactful for your year, but it's also going to be amazing how you're going to feel, truly living your truth and actually being in your energy, right? So it's a super important theme, and I'm really glad to see that coming in for many of you. So you'll be overcoming any issues with your throat chakra. If you've had a hard time really telling somebody how you feel, if you've been accepting somebody's shitty behavior due to the nature of maybe not wanting to speak out against them, if you have felt like you cannot voice your opinion because you're worried of judgment of others, these are things that are going to change all throughout 2024 as you become the Emperor and become incredibly empowered and comfortable in the person that you are. You will learn to love yourself this year. You will learn to understand that your voice matters this year and that you're significant and important. And with that being said, it's going to put you in a spot where you finally feel like you can be you, and you kind of finally feel too like the world actually sees you, So that's a really beautiful vibe. Having a look here at our last and our final major theme coming into play for you, we have here the card that says dreams coming true. So I think a lot is going to happen, probably in a lot of unexpected ways, because the universe tends to be incredibly unexpected, So a lot's going to come to pass for you that maybe you never thought in a million years would. But it is definitely a time where the universe is throwing in some blessings here, guys. I'm hearing alignments. I feel like true paths are coming into alignment with you. So, for example, maybe you have a mission on this planet that you never known before, and maybe suddenly the light worker in you becomes activated and everything works out perfectly and you start doing spiritual work. Something like that could happen this year. Maybe for others of you, if you've had dreams in terms of a certain career and where you've wanted to see that career go, you could see those dreams starting to open up and come true for you as well. Maybe the dream of being a parent is coming true. Maybe the dream of having the perfect relationship is coming true as well. We can definitely expect some blessings here for this year. So let's expand on it. Let's take a look and see the gist of what's going on. Let's go ahead and expand on the last major theme, dreams coming true. What information do we have here for this theme? We have here the 9 of Swords. We also have here the 10 of Cups, and we have here the 7 of Pentacles. 9 of Swords is actually the opposite of a dream. Typically, it's a bit of a nightmare, But I think what's happening is you guys are starting to realize I can turn my nightmares into my dreams. My life doesn't have to be nightmares. My life can be dreams coming true. I think a lot of you are going to start to realize that you have the power to write your own story. You have the power to create a life for yourself in which you desire to live. So 10 of Cups coming into play here. You're going to have a lot of fulfillment this year, but it's going to be based upon the seeds that you're planting, 7 of Pentacles, and the kinds of investments you're making. Essentially, 9 of Swords, I'm not investing in the nightmarish kind of energy or the nightmares in general. I want to spend my time investing in the dreams. Sure, there might be some things that happen this year that might feel like a nightmare. However, though, I want to focus on the dreams instead, because that's where the good stuff is. And I feel that if you actually focus your energy on what fulfills you this year, you're going to keep on gaining more fulfillment, right? Where we are putting our focus and where we're putting our attention, where attention goes is where energy flows. So if we allow ourselves to put our focus and our attentiveness on the things that we desire, on the things that fulfill us, we can only get more fulfillment, back in return, right? That's what it really comes down to, Team Sagittarius. So I think your investments are changing, I'm done looking at the negative side of things. I'm done putting a lot of doubt into my life and doubt into my path. I'm done having disbelief in myself. I'm going to believe that dreams can come true. And when the people who dream big and genuinely believe that dreams can come true, those are the people who see their dreams come true in real time. Because the first step to manifesting your dreams is believing that it can happen. And I know I sound cheesy right now, and that's totally okay. Sometimes I'm a bit of a cheesy guy, but if you can believe in yourself, you can do it. And I think 2024 is going to be a major indicator of that because it's going to show you that in real time. All right, so 3 big major themes coming up for Sagittarians here throughout 2024. I think this is fantastic. Detachment, it's a big one. We got to cut out what isn't serving us. We got to actually be aware and learn to sit in our awareness at all times and kind of gauge where we're at. This is about realizing, is something helping me or hurting me? If it's hurting me, got to cut it off because I want to do the best for myself this year. Throat chakra. Am I not embracing all of who I truly am? Is there anything about myself I'm holding back? Am I repressing how I feel and sacrificing my feelings for the feelings of others? Am I not voicing my opinion because I believe my voice doesn't matter? If that's the case, this year teaches you exactly how much your voice matters, exactly how much your truth matters, and exactly how you, being yourself, is the best way to live your life. Looking at the last one, dreams coming true. If you felt in the past like you've lived a nightmare, this year shows you that dreams really can come true, but it's going to be dependent upon where you put your focus. Where attention goes is always going to be where energy flows. So if you focus only on the nightmare aspects, the nightmare is going to be what you feel like you're constantly living in. But if you put your focus on the dreams, and if you put the belief out there, you can make your dreams your reality. Okay, so Sagittarius, very cool. All right, these are your 3 major themes coming up for the year of 2024. We're going to be moving on into your rose section next. Now, I do want to say what the rose section is basically it's going to be the highs of the year throughout 2024. It's going to be 3 sections, 3 roses, discussing the good stuff throughout 2024, right? So basically the general good stuff that's happening. After we do the rose section, we'll take a look into your thorns, which will be representative of the bad stuff, right? The stuff that we kind of want to avoid. The good thing about the thorns, though, is that I'm giving you information of things you won't really want to see happen in 2024, but by having this information super early, we, with our free will, can avoid those thorns. So the point of putting the thorns out there is to avoid those thorns by taking better paths. I always say with tarot, right? Tarot is 100% avoidable. Tarot never has to resonate to the T. It never has to play out the way that it may play out in a reading, because with our free will and with early insight, we can completely bypass some of these paths we don't want to take, So that's what makes it super cool. So we'll go over your thorns, we'll go over your roses first, and then afterwards we'll look at how to be your greatest version, and then we'll close today's reading with a final outcome, okay? So guys, with that being said, we're going to head on into your roses in a moment or so. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, Team Sagittarius, we're hopping on into your roses of the year. Once again, this is the good stuff, the highs of the year. So let's get on into it and see what we got going on. What is going to be the first rose coming into play here for Sagittarian? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus throughout the year of 2024. What do we got showing up here for you? We have here the Root Girl, the Disowned Self, following up here with Magician Sword, Confidence in Your Magic. Isn't that fantastic? I really like that combination, actually. So, super cool rose. Looking at the next rose for you. What's going to be the next rose for Sagittarians 2024? We have here the Willow of the Wisp, Treasures Hidden in Shadows, and that's going to be paired here with Jeweled Web Connectivity. And having a look here at our final rose for 2024, what is going to be the final rose coming in here for Team Sagittarius? And what do we have? We have here the Joyful Muse, Inspiration, and we have here Stars in the Sky, Limitless Possibility. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's get down to it, guys, and see what we got going on. Now we're going to begin with our first rose, and our first rose here says, once again, Root Girl, the Disowned Self, and the Magician Sword, Confidence in Your Magic. I definitely feel Like, this is going to be a time where you have to go very deep into your roots and ask yourself, what has made me disown who I truly am? And I think a lot of you are going to be going through such deep healing processes in 2024. I know some of you watching right now might be like, Ant, how is this a positive thing or a high of the year? Well, the next card is what really comes into play, because it says confidence in your magic, getting your spark back, getting your confidence back, believing the power within yourself. And a lot of you are going to start to really regain that. You know, if you've had a sense of disowned self, if you've disowned yourself, if you've kind of been unhappy with who you are, if you have not felt within your power, 2024 is going to show you exactly how to get to the root of where those situations and beliefs have begun. And once you get to the root of something, you then can start to root outwards, right? You could start to go from the beginning root and take a look at all the way down and figure out why I felt this way, why I felt that way, and where it all started, and how we can navigate going forward to improving how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about life and how we feel about our circumstances. So 2024 is going to show you that you can regain confidence again. You can find the magic within yourself again, and that's exactly what's happening here. So it's super beautiful to see, and it's going to be a super beautiful transformation. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and expand on it and see what's coming on up. What information do we have here for Saggy regarding this first rose? Let's go ahead and expand. We have here the Temperance, which is the Sagittarius card, and we also have here the Seven of Pentacles. Beautiful. Yeah, a lot of you guys in 2024 are really going to take such care of your mental health. I really do see that coming into play for you. There's going to be a lot of investments with your mental health. So you're making great strides there. For some of you, maybe you're going to a therapist. For others of you, maybe you're figuring it out on your own, you know? For some people, it works that way. For other people, maybe they need somebody else to kind of help them out. And it's okay either way, to be fair. So I think that you're going to be paying very close attention to how to improve your mental health this year, how to improve your mindset, how to improve how you feel about yourself, how you feel about life, how you feel about your circumstances. And at the end of the day, this is going to make you feel so reconnected to the enjoyment of life again. You know, when a person's going through it, when a person's unhappy, they don't tend to feel the enjoyment of life. They don't tend to feel the magic in life. But this year you start to feel that magic again with all the work you're going to be putting into yourself, and it's going to be incredibly fucking powerful. Having a look here at your next expansion on this first rose, what's it going to be for Sagittarius? What is the next expansion showing up here on this first rose? We have here the Tower, absolutely. And we have here the Devil, breaking down every negative belief, every single thing within yourself that has kept you stuck and has kept you trapped. You are going to make great strides and great progress this year in regards to not allowing yourself to be stuck, in those negative energies that have kept you so trapped for a long time. So if there's been anything in your life that you feel has kept you unhappy, if there's been anything in your life that you feel has prevented you from being your best self or reaching and hitting your goals, in 2024, you're going to the root, right? And you're taking a look at why did all this begin? And once we can get to that root, we're going to keep on working down the root, and we're going to figure out how everything happened, how everything came together, how we formed certain beliefs. And that's going to start to inspire you on how we start to change those beliefs. So 2024 is going to be about saying, I need to break down all these negative beliefs within myself that have kept me trapped, unhappy. And now I need to start to reinforce positive beliefs that are going to allow me to believe in the magic of life again, but are also going to allow me to create a better life and a better world for myself. So you will see a deep, deep transformation throughout this entire year in how your mental health is, how your perception of the world is, how your circumstances are, because as you're changing into this beautiful, positive individual, you are removing yourself from all these negative things that have kept you stuck. And for some of you, maybe some of these things have even kept you stuck for years, but this is the year where you're doing that work. You're jumping into the shadow, you're healing what needs to be healed, and you're reinforcing a whole brand new belief system of positive beliefs and ideas that are going to take your life to another level. All right, so really beautiful first rose, and definitely something awesome to expect here throughout 2024. Now, following up with your second rose, we have here Willow of the Wisp, treasures hidden in the shadows, and we have here Jeweled Web, connectivity. Now, this second rose to me is saying something pretty interesting, because there are treasures hidden in the shadows in a lot of areas of life. I tend to call that blessings in disguise. There are blessings in disguise showing up in our lives every day. But it really depends upon how you connect with it, because most people tend to look at a blessing in disguise and not recognize it, because why? The blessing's disguised. So when people see themselves going through situations that at first they inherently feel are negative, sometimes they tend to realize, I'm actually glad that situation happened. So let me bring forth an example. Let's say you break up with someone, or somebody breaks up with you. Maybe the relationship was pretty rocky, but you loved and cared for the person. But maybe all these months later, you start to have a light bulb moment where it's like, whoa, I'm actually really thankful I'm not with that person anymore, because by having all this time away from them, it's made me realize how unhealthy they actually were for me. So when the breakup initially happened, it felt like hell. It felt like the worst thing that could have happened to me. But now, 6 to 9 months later, I'm seeing how that was the best thing that could have ever happened for me, because at the end of the day, being with that person, my point of view, my perception, I totally missed out on all the things that were hurting me versus helping me. But now with this separation, now with this time away, I'm allowed to see how I was truly connected and integrated into that kind of connection. So you will see the blessings in disguise pretty often, much later on than when they're first showing up in your life. But I think that in 2024, you're going to begin to actually see them in general, and you're going to start to see them a lot quicker. I feel like a lot of Sagittarians are going to begin to start reinforcing their belief and their trust and their faith in the universe. You know, when something happens that's bad, I think you're going to start to have a belief system where it's like, well, wait, let's see how it plays out. Maybe it's not as bad as it seems. Maybe something happens for a reason. Maybe everything happens for a reason. And maybe I shouldn't doubt the process. Maybe I should trust and keep faith in the universe. And in due time, God will always reveal to you why everything happened the way it did to get you to where you needed to go. You know, I teach law of attraction and manifesting. I've been teaching it for 5 years, and I always tend to tell people, right? Let's say you were manifesting a new job. They come to me in a couple weeks. They're like, Aunt, I got fired from my job. How the hell was that manifesting a new one? I'm fired. I don't have an income. Well, how the hell would you have gotten that new job if you were still working the same old job? You got to trust the process. Everything's working out the way it should be intended. You manifested this new job, but you can't stay at the old job for the new job. You know, so people would see that as a bad thing, but really it was a blessing in disguise, because if you were never let go or offboarded from that job, you would have never went on Indeed.com and searched up jobs and looked for one and then found one that really resonates with you and then ended up getting it, right? So the point here is in 2024, you're recognizing there are no mistakes in the universe. Everything does happen for a reason, and it's time for me to restore more of my trust and my faith into the universe. And as you're doing this, you're actually beginning to see just how blessed you are and just how the universe and your guides are always looking out for you. And that's going to be a super positive aspect for you throughout this year. Now let's go ahead and expand. All right, let's get 2 expansion sets for this second rose for Sagittarian throughout the year of 2024. Let's go ahead and have a look. First expansion set is going to be the 4 of Swords, and that's going to be paired here with the Queen of Swords coming into play as well. So 4 of Swords here, Queen of Swords here. 4 of Swords is the energy of separation. And I think that it's pretty interesting you see separation here when this card is all about connectivity. But I think what you're realizing is that separation isn't necessarily a bad thing when it can lead you to be connected to new things. So the Queen of Swords here says, I'm embracing detachment. If something is rolling out of my life, I'm going to make peace with the fact that it's rolling out of my life, but at the same time, I'm going to remain open for what's coming in. So I think you guys are going to start to embody this energy of, it is what it is. Whatever happens, happens. What's meant for me will find me. What's not meant for me will exit my life. And you know what? At the end of the day, if something does exit my life, that's the universe's way of making room for something even better to come on in. So you are no longer looking in the perception of, if bad things happen to me, it's because the universe doesn't care. Or for some reason, bad things always happen to me. If these were perceptions that you can say you've honestly had in the past, you're not going to have these kinds of perceptions anymore in 2024. It's like, God's always watching me. God's always looking out for me. Anything that's removed is always to bring in something better. You are changing your perception, and it's definitely going to make a major impact, because as you keep on putting more faith into the world and as you keep on trusting the process, you're seeing exactly how you're making room for the better things to come on in. Let's have a look here at your next expansion set. What's going to be the next expansion set for the second rose? We have here the Nine of Swords, and we have here the Ten of Cups. Moving out of a place of fear and moving into a place of fulfillment. For people who always believe that everything's going to be okay, it always turns out that everything is. For people who believe that they're always going to get what's right for them, and they're always going to end up having a happy ending to a happy story, they end up getting that happy ending. Remember how I said earlier, I believe I said this when we were going over the 3 major themes. I was talking about how if you are looking at life through the lens of a nightmarish perspective, it's going to be a nightmare. But if you look at life through the lens of dreams coming true, and if you can believe that for yourself, you're going to see it. The thing is that life isn't about seeing things to believe, but it's about believing things to see. I'm a whole cliche in your entire tarot video today. So roll with the cliches, because they may be cliche, but they're sayings for a reason, right? Because there's some truth to them. So at the end of the day, it's not about seeing to believe. It's about believing to see. And if you can allow yourself to tune into the higher vibrational frequency of things will always work out for me, things will always end up taking a turn for the best, you're going to watch every scenario and situation take a turn for the best, point blank period, in your life. All right? And that's what's going to make 2024 so special. Even at first, if it felt like there was a lot of twists and turns, everything turned out all right. It wasn't so bad. Everything actually seemed to have worked out and turned out perfectly. So it's only going to reinforce more of your faith in the universe too. So I love it, guys. Blessings in disguise are going to now, or more so in regards to blessings in disguise, you're going to now start to see the blessing a lot earlier than you may have used to, you know? And you're also recognizing if something ended, it's for a reason. And I'm going to be open to whatever comes next. Okay, very cool. Hopping on into your last rose for the year of 2024, we have here the Joyful Muse, which is a cute little cat. It says inspiration, and we have here stars in the sky, limitless possibility. I think a lot of you are going to start to notice that you're feeling incredibly incredibly inspired this year to do something new. Maybe some of you are artists and you've never put your work out before. You've never, had a business, but maybe you want to start that art business. You feel inspired. Maybe others of you feel inspired to start a tarot channel or to get into spiritual work. Maybe others of you feel inspired to go on a journey in some way that can help aid people or that can help you and help your families. Who knows? But the point is that this year, with the inspiration you're finding, you're not creating limitation. Notice how this card says limitless possibility. It means you can do anything you put your mind to. So maybe you had a perspective in the past that when you felt inspired, maybe you were overwhelmed with feelings of doubt afterwards. I can't tell you guys how many times I've personally experienced that in my life, where I'd feel inspired to do something, I'd feel inspired to start something new, but then here came flooding in all the negative thoughts, all the doubt, all the limitations. But what I learned throughout my process of thinking that way for years is that limitations are nothing more than an extension of what you're limiting for yourself. Nobody can ever tell you what you can and what you cannot do, but you sure as hell can tell yourself what you can and what you cannot do. Limitations don't come from other people, they come from yourself. And a limited mind will always be a limited life, but a person who thinks freely is abundant. The key here is allowing yourself to realize that anything you put your mind to, anything that you choose to do in this world, you can do. You live in a world of infinite possibility. So if you're feeling inspired this year, don't let that feelings of doubt and feelings of this is never going to happen and all the negativity, don't let that come rushing and flooding in. Instead, counteract that with belief. Start looking at, what if I could really do this? I am really going to do this. Even though I'm inspired right now and this inspiration's random, I'm going to take it as a sign as this is what I should do and this is what I will do, period. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I feel really heavily for Sagittarians this year. There's going to be a lot of paths activated for you guys. Like you're going to start coming into alignment with a lot of your dreams or coming into alignment with like some sort of mission that you didn't even know existed. So some of you guys can get thrown into a whole new kind of lifestyle that you randomly one day, even though it's not random, there's no mistakes in the universe, but that you feel like you randomly one day, you get inspired to do something, then you get into it, and then it becomes a very significant part of your life. You know, at first it might have felt like it was random, but once again, there are no mistakes in the universe. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of you are going to have major inspirations this year, but they're going to lead you down paths that you were meant to go down, you know, paths that were written in the stars, period. All right, let's get your expansion cards. Just give me 1 second, guys, and we'll get into it. So let's expand on this last and this final rose. What information do we have here for Sagittarius regarding their third rose in the year of 2024? 3 of Wands showing up here, 3 of Pentacles. The energy of waiting, the energy of doing. Typically, when we're in places of doubt, we tend to push back what we felt inspired to do. And I'm guilty of that, and I'm sure you are too. But when we get in the energy of just taking action, fuck it, I feel inspired to do something today. Let me not think twice about it. Let me just jump into it. Getting in the energy of action is always what's going to bring results. And of course, if you believe in the actions you're taking, you're going to get the results 100%, dude. So really hone in this year on inspiration. Do you feel inspired to start a YouTube channel? Do you feel inspired to start a business? Do you feel inspired to have a total transformation in your life? Do you feel inspired to help someone in need? Whatever the case may be, don't even think twice about it. If you felt inspired, there's something there for you. You know, your feelings are indicators, right? And they indicate the next steps. So if that inspiration comes through to do something, follow suit with it. Believe that that inspiration is guiding you somewhere. I'm sure it is. And you know what? Many of you, and it may come to your surprise, you may see a whole entire path open up for you just by following suit with that inspiration. And it's going to be a beautiful experience in 2024. All right? So don't be in the energy of waiting or pushing things off. Be in the energy of doing this year when the inspiration comes through, because it may lead you to paths that were written in the stars, paths that were made for you, baby. All right, Saggy? All right, guys, let's get your next expansion set. What's going to be the next expansion coming in here for Sagittarius throughout the year of 2024? What do we have? We have here the 10 of Wands, and we also have here the Moon. It's time to change your emotions. It's time to change how you feel about yourself. For people who typically don't feel like they have a lot of value, or for people who typically don't feel very good of themselves or hold themselves in a positive light, to say the least, they usually tend to be more filled with doubt. They usually tend to be more filled with, I don't believe anything good is working out for me, etc. This is the year where that mindset's changing. You're going to start to notice that the way you view yourself and the way you connect with yourself on an emotional level is far more positive than it's been in a long time. And you're going to start to recognize, I have belief in myself again because I could see that I'm competent. I believe that I'm competent. I know that I'm more than enough. I know that I'm enough in general, and I can make things happen, point blank period, because I'm a motherfucking Sagittarius. I'm a fire pony, an amazing motherfucking person, and an awesome ass zodiac sign, right? So your entire way that you connect with yourself and engage with yourself emotionally is going to be so different because you're coming from a place of love. You're going to be learning to love yourself this year in a very powerful way. And that self-love really starts to spark the magic in your life again and to bring the confidence back into your life again, right? So Sagittarians, it's a beautiful time. Follow through with inspiration. I really think it can take you places, and especially if it's unexpected, you know? So in a way, expect the unexpected. Okay? All right, guys, let's go ahead and keep it moving forward. We have finished up your rose section, so we're getting on into your thorn section here next. And like I mentioned previously, these thorns are pretty much like the lows of the year, stuff that we want to avoid. I know it can seem scary hearing that and taking in that information, but always remember, y'all, you can avoid everything you see in a tarot reading just by having that information and insight ahead of time, and by consciously, with your free will, choosing to avoid that path and redirect to something better. So let's get into it, okay? All right, Team Sagittarius, we're going to hop on into your thorn section now of today's reading. So without further ado, let's go ahead here and get started, okay? What's going to be the first thorn showing up here for our zodiac signs of Sagittarians, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus throughout the year of 2024? And what do we have? We have here repairing the veil, forgiveness, and that's going to be followed up here with covenant, sacred contract. Very interesting on that one. Having a look here at the next thorn for 2024. What's going to be the next thorn here for Sagittarian? And what do we got? We have here Spirit of the River, movement toward adventure, and that'll be paired here with Horned Cactus, resourcefulness. Taking a look here at the final the final thorn for 2024. What's going to be the final thorn here for Sagittarian? And we have here Skybridge, possibility for union, and that'll be paired here with the Joyful Muse, inspiration. So let's get into it, guys. Let's see what's showing up here for you. Now, beginning here with our first thorn, we have here repairing the veil, forgiveness, and covenant, sacred contract. I definitely think that it's kind of interesting that you may find yourself involved in situations where you could be feeling a little bit too easily forgiving in 2024, especially with people that you feel like you are incredibly bonded with, people that you are incredibly connected to. And chances are these may be people that you have soul ties with or soul contracts with. But the thing that most people don't usually realize about soul ties and soul contracts is that in this life, more often than not, they're meant to be broken. They're meant to be ended. The contract is meant to be expired, but many people often put more effort in to try to keep that contract alive. So whether or not you can identify if you have a soul tie or a soul contract to a specific person, that's besides the point. What people will naturally tend to see is they're constantly giving out chances after chances after chances to people they've dealt with. And I think that the actual lesson here is to recognize you can forgive, but you don't have to forget. You can forgive and you can let go. You don't always have to give chance after chance after chance. So Sagittarius, I feel like coming into 2024, one of the thorns you definitely want to watch out for is going to be this first one. You don't have to give infinite chances to somebody. You can give one chance, one strike, and you're out. You can give 3 chances and 3 strikes and you're out, but you don't always have to be in that energy where you're forgiving, but you're also doing your best here to add a chance here again. You can forgive, but not forget. And I think that that's the main point here. Despite how connected you are to somebody, you are not obligated to go forward with them. Sure, forgiveness is great because it allows you to release. You're not holding on to any more emotional residue, and I think forgiveness is a very healthy thing to do. So I wouldn't hold on to things. Forgiveness is definitely going to be a factor and a great key to carry into 2024, but it feels like one thing you definitely want to avoid is handing out way too many chances. If somebody here is constantly apologizing, but they're not having changed behavior, then it's not a real apology. A real apology comes with changed behavior. Somebody that you're granting a second chance to, if they're telling you that they're going to change this time and they don't, and you see that happen repetitively, then they would have changed if they really wanted to. So really watch out for handing out too many chances here coming into 2024. Definitely something to talk about, but let's get into it. What's going to be the first expansion set showing up on the first thorn for Sagittarians, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus? We have here the 3 of Pentacles, and that 3 of Pentacles here is going to be paired to the Star card. So 3 of Pentacles represents things working out for you, things that are favorable to you. The Star card here is often representative of what you're aligning with or what you're meant to be with in your path. So I feel first and foremost, if something's meant to work out for you, it's going to. And if you find yourself having to constantly give someone or something tons and tons of chances, it's almost like, once again, going back to that standpoint, if it was going to work, it would have already. If somebody wanted to be the best they could be for you, they would have been the best already. If a relationship was meant to work out, it would have worked out by now. If a work situation was meant to work out, it would have worked out by now, right? You guys get the point, but I kind of feel like that's the gist here with that 3 of Pentacles here to the Star card. So focus on what is working instead. For the things that aren't working, it's okay to give things a second chance, but when you're continuously handing out chances, it's almost like, hey, the universe has something else in store for you. And if you allow yourself to go in that direction to where you say, okay, universe, I'm going to let you align me to wherever I need to go, you're going to actually find things that work out for you instead, rather than being stuck giving repetitive chances. So definitely something to avoid here. Let's take a look at your next expansion set. What's going to be the next expansion set here for Sagittarius throughout the year of 2024 regarding this first thorn? And what do we have? We have here the 2 of Swords, and we have here the 6 of Cups coming into play as well. Yeah, I think that you're very indecisive when it comes to your past, because it seems to me like there are going to be a lot of situations where people you have history with are showing up here in the year of 2024. So you're going to notice that people you have history with, they're popping up out of the woodworks, and I think that there's going to be a part of you that's like, I don't know, maybe I should try again. But I feel like, once again, there's no other way to put it. I just keep getting the same message. The main focal point for you, Sag, is like, if it was meant to work out, it would have. Don't spend a lot of time trying to work on things again and hoping to do it better this time, because there's something else out there that's so much better for you. And I think that you can get caught in the trap here this year if you keep on getting into that energy of instant second chances and third chances and fourth chances. You're only going to keep yourself stuck, and you're only going to delay yourself from going towards what's actually working for you this year, right now, in this space and time. So you really want to avoid that. You can forgive, but you don't have to forget, and you're not obligated to move forward, okay? That would be my best advice on this first thorn. Jumping on to thorn number 2, we have here Spirit of the River, movement towards adventure, and then we have here Horned Cactus, which is resourcefulness. So I feel like for some of you, you might be finding doubt this year in being a little bit more adventurous. I think that there's a massive desire here for you to be more adventurous, but then here comes in resourcefulness, and you're asking yourself, well, what if I don't have the resources? You know, for example, maybe I really want to travel this year, but I don't have the money. Once you start putting yourself into a perspective of lack, or putting yourself into a bracket of lack, it's going to automatically demotivate you. It's going to shut things down, and it's going to make you feel like, well, I can't do this, right? How many times have you guys thought about a dream vacation you want to go on, but you're like, well, I don't have the money for it, so that ain't happening, right? At the end of the day, every time that we do that, we're tapping into the energy of lack. But what we really need to do instead is ask ourselves, how can we get those resources? If we feel like resources are personally lacking, let's not shut down the idea of what we want to have happen. Let's figure out how to be more resourceful. So I really want to go on that vacation this year in 2024. It's about $4,000. I don't have $4,000 saved. So what's going to be the game plan to save that kind of money? What am I going to put aside every month to make sure I can hit that amount so that I can take that vacation and have the time of my life? 2024 here is about recognizing that we got to stop telling ourselves that just because we don't have what we need to be successful, means that we can't be successful. You can go out there and still get the tools. That's the main point here of this thorn coming into play for you. At least that's the main counterpoint, right? Because I feel like this year what it's saying is a lot of you can tap into the energy of lack, and once you believe and feel like you're lacking, you're automatically going to shut down your ideas, you're going to shut down your adventures, you're going to shut down what you desire to do. It's okay if something's missing. It's okay if you feel like you don't have all the tools you need in order to be abundant. If you feel like you have lack, or you're lacking something you need, just go out there and get the tools. Point blank, period. Like going back to that example, I really want this vacation, but I don't have that $4,000. Well, start saving now. Start coming up with an action plan. Start doing what you can to generate more income to put that money to the side so that you can have that vacation in 2024, So definitely something to talk about. Hopping on into your first expansion set regarding the second thorn. What's going to be the first expansion set showing up here for Sagittarius on the second thorn? What do we have? We have here the Sun card, and that Sun card here is going to be paired with the Queen of Wands. Yes, if you allow yourself to be confident enough, if you believe in yourself, if you really put the work in, guys, you can have happy, successful results. So if you want the resources, you just have to go out there and get them. We got to remember that when we're in the energy of lack, we're believing that nothing is abundant. The truth is everything in this planet, everything in this world is abundant, including money. Money gets printed every day. Money is made every day. Money is transaction. There's transactions with money every day, right? So at the end of the day, money's very abundant. It's out there. It's all over the world. Attracting it, that's what we got to focus on. In reference to food, there's an abundance of food everywhere in the world. If you go down the street, I'm sure you could see a food truck somewhere if you live in a city. Or maybe you go down the street and you see a supermarket. Right? But at the end of the day, if we're telling ourselves we don't have the resources to get the things we want, then we have to recognize that it's not so much that those resources don't exist, it's just that they're currently lacking in our possession. So we have to come up with a game plan to get those resources anyhow. All right? Now, Queen of Wands here says, if you're confident enough, if you want something badly enough, you can have it. You just need to believe in yourself, and you have to go after it, right? So Queen of Wands says, get motivated, get moving, and get those resources. Coming into your second expansion set for the year of 2024, what's the second expansion set going to be for Team Sagittarius? We have here the Six of Wands, and we have here the Six of Swords. As long as you are getting the ball rolling, you have every opportunity and chance to be successful. So if you're missing out on resources, guys, as long as you go towards the resources you need, you'll be able to get them, and you'll be able to make things happen, right? The whole point of this thorn was saying, guys, what you want to watch out for is you want to watch out for telling yourself that you can't do something this year, because you can do anything you put your mind to. You might say to yourself, well, I can't go on that vacation because I don't have money, or you know what? at the end of the day, I can't be with this person because I don't necessarily believe that I'm enough within myself, then at the end of the day, if you feel like you're lacking self-love, it's time to find that resource, which is love, and it's time to love yourself. If you feel like you can't go on that vacation, it's time to go out there and get that money so that you can go on that vacation. The point is that the entire universe will always be plentiful. It will always be resourceful. But you may not have those resources on hand, but it doesn't mean you can't get them. But if you tell yourself that the universe is lacking or the world is lacking the resources you need, and you get into that demotivated energy and you do nothing about it, then you're going to miss out on some really cool stuff. I think there are tons of amazing adventures coming up here for you guys this year in 2024. Don't miss out on it because you're telling yourself, I don't have the resources. Go out there and get those resources. You 110% can do it. Okay? All right, guys, hopping on into our last thorn for 2024, we have here Skybridge, the possibility for union, and we have here the joyful muse inspiration. Now, the key word I feel in Skybridge is possibility. I always tell people we live in a world of infinite possibility each and every single day. So with that being said, we can do anything that we desire. We can attract, we can manifest, we can live any kind of life in any kind of timeline that we wish to. But it feels to me like a lot of you might be tapping into the energy too much of possibility versus guarantee. I feel like there's definitely something you're inspired to align with this year, and you may find many inspirations in 2024, but I'm almost kind of looking at the word possibility as the sense of a not guarantee, like something isn't guaranteed, right? So it's possible to happen, but it's not guaranteed to happen. And I think that every time you guys find yourselves feeling inspired, you're not in that energy where you're like, oh, I confidently 100% can do this. It's like, yeah, it's possible, but I'm kind of feeling a little bit of doubt showing up here. So one thing I do want to mention in reference, I cannot speak today, so do bear with me, guys. But one thing I want to mention in reference this year in 2024 is when you feel inspired, jump on that inspiration. The last thing you want to do is say, well, sure, it's probably possible I can do this, but maybe I can't. You don't want to incorporate doubt, and you don't want to mix that with inspiration. You want to mix inspiration with the fact that you can do anything. Inspiration and belief is what can create something brand new for you and open up brand new doors. However, though, if we have inspiration with doubt, then sure, there might be inspiration coming into play here, but you're not going to act on it. You're not going to do something with it. So I feel like there's going to be lots of room for inspiration coming in 2024. You could be feeling inspired to change your career path. You could be feeling inspired to change who you are and to add more value into the world, etc. I think there's going to be a lot of amazing inspirations coming in for you, but if you start telling yourself, well, sure, it's possible, but I don't know, if doubt starts to creep in, it's going to shoot down any inspiration you have. Once again, the inspiration may be there, but the action won't. So really be sure this year to follow suit with whatever inspires you, because you never know what it can become. Taking a look here at your first expansion set, we have here the High Priestess, and we have here the Ace of Cups. The High Priestess here says, follow through with your intuition. I tend to believe that when we feel inspired, it's almost kind of like an inkling, a little bit of an intuitive nudge of the universe saying, hey, there's a reason you feel inspired by this, because chances are there's something there for you. You should lean into that energy. Maybe you're feeling inspired to become a motivational speaker, and maybe that's not something you've ever done before, but you've noticed that when you do speak motivationally, you tend to have an impact on people. At the end of the day, here's your guides here, or the universe here saying, look, there's a reason you're inspired to do this. It's because if you were to do this, you can genuinely help people. Maybe some of you are feeling inspired to start a business in art. Maybe you're a wonderful artist. Maybe your art, putting that out into the world, is incredibly beneficial for so many people, and you can inspire other people too with the art that you put out. So at the end of the day here, I feel like inspiration is just another kind of format of intuitive nudges coming in from your spirit guides, if you will. And I think that this year, if you pay close attention to where you're feeling guided to and where you're feeling called to, and if you eliminate doubt, but instead look at this as maybe this is what I'm being called to do, and I believe that I could do it, you're going to see so many more new doors and new opportunities opening up for you, Sagittarius, coming into this year. Okay? So the number one thing you want to do is avoid doubt. Don't mix doubt with inspiration. Mix belief with inspiration, and you're going to create something wonderful. And by the way, when you find yourself feeling inspired, take a look at that. Take a note that, hey, maybe this is the universe nudging me in a certain direction. I'm feeling inspired for a reason. Maybe there's something here for me to do, right? Absolutely. Moving on into your next expansion set. What's going to be the next expansion set for Sagittarius coming into 2024? regarding this final thorn. We have here the Magician, and we have here the Three of Wands. Yeah, anytime inspiration comes in, I'm feeling like that's a calling, guys. So you can do one or two things about it. I mean, you can show up to the calling, you can show up to what you feel inspired to do it and get it done, or you can kind of just leave it there, right? Three of Wands, you can wait on it. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe if the inspiration lasts a little longer, I'll do it next week. You know, you can push it off, or you can do it the moment that it comes. And what I tend to note is that whenever I'm feeling inspired, if I take action while I'm feeling inspired in the moment, it always works out the best. However, though, if I delay taking action on what I'm inspired to do, more often than not, I tend to lose inspiration because I didn't act on it quickly, and I tend to feel not so motivated later on. So what I want to say for you regarding this thorn this year, guys, is that number one thing you don't want to do, don't mix doubt and inspiration. It's not going to create anything for you. You have to mix belief and inspiration together. Following up with this, if you feel inspired, look at it almost as if this is the universe telling you, hey, here's a new path for you. Give it a go, give it a try. I have something here for you. If you allow yourself to be open to the invitation, you're going to open up tons of new doorways in your lives. And also, just show up, baby, to what you feel inspired to do. Don't delay your inspiration. If you feel called to do something, inspired to do something, do it as soon as possible, because you're going to see just how quickly things can change and unfold for you. And for some of you, it's going to be such a crazy overnight transformation this year where you're like, whoa, I didn't even see this coming, you know, and that can definitely be showing up, by the way, word to the wise, in career. If you feel inspired to get into the social media space, you might make a social media page, upload your first video, boom, it goes viral, and here you are in a brand new space, adding value into the world, just because you felt inspired to create a channel, you know? So pay attention to your inspiration this year. You don't want to avoid that, and you don't want to doubt what you're feeling inspired to do, because honestly, the inspiration here is really just a calling coming into 2024, okay? All right, Team Sagittarius, lovely. This was your thorn section. Honestly, I did not feel like these thorns were half bad at all. These looked pretty good, and I definitely do feel like you 100% can avoid these. So I think you guys had probably, in a way, the lightest thorn section of the year. So really not bad, guys. It looks pretty dang good. Now we're going to go ahead and move forward here, Sagittarius. We're going to hop on into our last two sections now. I'm going to be taking a look here at what you can do in 2024 to become your greatest version. And then we'll close out the reading with an overall final outcome for the year of 2024. All right, Team Sagittarius, welcome to the final section. So I do want to preface now, how do we become our greatest version this year? Well, first and foremost, we have to ask ourselves, what is the person, or who is the person I want to be? You have to really get that clear image inside your head. You know, do I want to be a person this year who is incredibly successful each and every single day? Do I want to be that person who is having more time for family, having more time for friends? Do I want to be that person who's kind all year long? It's going to be a time where I believe you should take a moment or so, pause the video if you need to really envision yourself being the best version of you. What does that version look like? What does that version feel like? How do you dress? How do you treat yourself? How do you treat others? What are you doing if you're this greatest version? What's your occupation? Really take the time to engage all the five senses in this activity and look at who you desire to become this year. Now, if you allow yourself to picture that version, all you have to do this year is embody the energy that that version of yourself carries. So if you're a person this year who wants to be more confident and your greatest version is more confident, it's time to embody the energy of confidence. If you're a person who desires to be more successful, it's time to adapt a successful mindset to morph into that version. The point is we can be anybody we want to be at any given time, but we have to not act as if. We have to literally embody what we desire to become. So take some time here to meditate on that. If you need to, pause the video. And then I'm going to take a look here into the tarot and see some additional cards and, hopefully aid you in the right direction on how to be the best version this year, just with some extra information, okay? So let's take a look here and begin. What do we have for Sagittarius? What can they do to be their greatest version coming into the year of 2024? Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for this year. Let's go ahead and check it out. First card coming out is going to be the Judgment card, baby. Yeah. You know, the way that you see things is going to be incredibly important. Your perspective is going to be incredibly important. Do remember also the saying that your perception is your reality. The way that you are going to be perceiving yourself, perceiving situations, perceiving life as it is exactly what you get back in return. So you want to make sure that you're focusing your perception on the story you desire to write. Remember, you're the author of your story. So if you see yourself in a certain light, if you see your life in a certain light, so mote it be. That's exactly how it will pan out. However, though, if you're seeing things in a perception that isn't making you all that happy, note and acknowledge that that can be the reality you're living too. So remember that you are the author of your own story. Pick a story that you desire to write. Pick a story that you desire to live rather than a story you're unhappy with, okay? So judgment showing up here. Make good judgment calls, make good decisions, but ultimately pay attention to your perception in 2024. Taking a look here at the next card on how Sagittarius can be their greatest version. What do we have? We have here the Sun card, baby. I'm here and don't worry, be happy. Coming into play for you. Now, of course, it's not always necessarily just that simple, but in a way, sometimes it is. I've always said on my channel that happiness is a choice. And I believe that everything's a choice. You can choose to be bitter and miserable, or you can choose to be positive and you can look at the bright side of things. Now, happiness is, to me personally, a very temporary feeling, but so is sadness and so is anger. Everything we experience and everything we feel is always going to be temporary. But one thing I do note is that you can always choose what energy you desire to show up in. Just as I've explained earlier, how you can choose to be whatever version of yourself you desire to be, you could also choose on whether or not you want to be happy, or you can choose to engage in the misery. It's really going to come down to you. So this year, you have to pay very close attention to your power of choice, because it's always at play each and every single day. You can choose to let stuff get to you, or you can choose to let go. You can choose to embrace good moments, or you can choose to be bitter about them. But the point is that you can be happy if you want to, but it has to come from you, and it has to be something you choose for yourself. Having a look here at about one or two more cards on what Sagittarian can do to be their greatest version. Let's check it out. What do we got? We got here the Ace of Pentacles. Capitalize on your opportunities 110%. If you want to be your greatest version, you have to see that opportunities everywhere. A lot of people usually only wait for an opportunity to present itself to them. But the point is that if you can start to see that the world has opportunities everywhere around you each and every single day, you will capitalize not only on those opportunities a heck of a lot more, but you will see opportunity you've never seen before. The point is, guys, is that every day we have the opportunity to be who we want to be, to do what the hell we want to do, to speak to whoever we want to speak to. We have free will. And free will is one of life's biggest opportunities, because that means you can do anything you so desire to do. So if you could start seeing the opportunity that's everywhere in the world to do whatever the hell you want, then you can really start capitalizing on that, and you could start living your life as freely and as happily as possible, because now you're going to start to live life on your own terms. 2024 Sagittarius, if you want to be your best self, it's going to have to be about living life on your terms, on what genuinely makes you happy, and on you doing what you actually want to do. And if you can achieve this, you definitely will be living your best life. Having a look here at the last and final card on what Sag can do to be their greatest version in 2024. What's it going to be? And what do we have? We have here the Hierophant. You have to take a look at who you need to commit to, and that person's going to be you. Don't worry about taking time away from other people. And it's not to say you can't be committed to others or devoted to others, but if you actually take the time to devote yourself to yourself, at the end of the day, if you do that, guys, you're going to be your greatest version no matter what, because self-work is exactly what creates personal transformation. And if you're not spending enough time working on yourself, you're not going to see enough transformation that's going to make you incredibly happy. So don't be afraid, guys, this year if you need to go in your own lane, if you need to fly solo, if you need to do you, because that's exactly what's going to take you to your greatest version. Giving yourself the time to connect with yourself, to look at what your wants, your needs, your desires are, to focus on fulfilling your wants, your needs, and your desires is what's exactly going to make everything happen. So you got to make sure you're providing enough time for you, and providing enough time to devote time to you. Because if you don't do so, and if you're constantly living your life for other people, or if you're in a place where you're constantly focused on other things other than yourself, then you're not going to have enough time to make this happen. So really make sure you have a great sense of dedication to self, and make sure you are dedicating enough time to make sure that you are changing and transforming the things in your life to the way that you see fit. Okay? All right, guys, let's get your overall outcome, baby. And then we are all finished up here with your yearly tarot reading. So what is going to be the overall outcome coming in here for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus throughout the year of 2024? What is the overall outcome coming into play for Team Saggy? Let's take a look. We got here the Three of Cups. I love it, guys. A rejoiceful year, a fun year. For some reason, I'm hearing an honorable year. I don't know what that means necessarily, but cool. Maybe you're just becoming a very honorable person with your intentions or something of that nature. Either way, though, guys, Three of Cups represents celebration. I think this is a year, guys, where you didn't see a lot of things coming, but holy crap, are you happy and pleased with the results? That's what I'm picking up for you with that Three of Cups. It's like, I didn't see all this coming, but man, did things really work out for me. Man, is there a lot to celebrate. Man, is there a lot that I've achieved in 2024. So yeah, this year calls for a celebration. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of what I've accomplished, and I'm proud of the life that I'm living, and I'm most importantly proud of the person I've become. Abso-fucking-lutely. Sagittarius, I love this. Guys, thank you so much for coming out here to your reading for the year of 2024. This was an awesome yearly, guys. I really think you guys had a lot of great information in this reading, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope that I was able to help out anybody who needed to hear these messages today. And of course, if you made it to the end, you're a real one, so thank you so much for that. I know these videos are relatively long, but thanks a lot, guys. I love you and I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, smack that like button. It helps out with the algorithm. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. I'll be happy to have you and welcome you here into the Soul family. But Sagittarians, have a lovely and amazing rest of your day. Have a great year, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Much love, and have yourselves a good one. Peace.